welcome to the March 2nd meeting for the Town of Beekman Zoning Board of Appeals. This time I'd like to call the meeting to order, and please ask everyone to rise and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please note the emergency exits are in the rear of the building, to your left and behind us, the upper left of the room behind us. At this time, I'd like to make a motion to open the meeting.
Second.
Second. Again, welcome this evening. Today's agenda for the Town of Beekman Zoning Board of Appeals, March 2nd, 2023, 7 p.m. The public hearing is for Sparrow's Nest and Krista Jones, seeking an area variance on the corner of Clove Valley Road and Town Center Boulevard, grid number 6759-00-465-462, Zone TC. The applicant was referred to the planning board and is seeking a 1.65 acre area variance from section 155-42A of the town code, which requires a minimum lot size of 5 acres. Also is seeking a 117.8 foot front yard setback area variance from section 155-42E, which requires 100 feet and 155 attachment 1 schedule A of the town code, which requires 0 to 15 feet.
Mr. Chairman, if I could just make a comment about that second variance. I sent out a memo earlier today regarding that, and that because this is a required special use permit, the applicant must obtain a special use permit in order to get the variance. The special use permit bulk regulations control over the underlying TC district. So the underlying TC district had a minimum of 0 to 15 feet on the road frontage. The believe it or not, the charitable foundation facility bulk area regs actually call for a setback of 100 feet for the front yard, and the applicant's property and design actually are conforming and meet the charitable foundation facility special use permit regs. So the only item for your consideration would be the area variance for the 5 acre rather than the and then, as you are aware, the applicant has a 3.35 acre parcel. So if you want to call the public hearing to order at this point in time. And
Thank you. We're good. Good. Great. So are the applicants present? And if so, please step forward and share us your presentation.
Good evening, I'm Steve Whalen of Whalen Architecture, or the architects of record for the project. I'm joined tonight by Krista Jones, the owner of Sparrow's Nest. Just to recap what our proposal is, it's to construct a new 7,000 square foot facility for Sparrow's Nest. It's going to be divided into 2,000 square feet. It's going to be for their offices and administration. Another 2,000 square feet is going to be for the kitchen. The remaining 3,000 square feet is going to be for storage and mostly for food storage. And just like Mr. Wallace just said, as per section 155-42, with all those requirements, the only one that we don't meet, and the reason that we're here tonight for the one variance, is for the minimum lot size. All the other requirements we conform with.
Any board questions or suggestions?
Questions, comments, questions
From the board?
from the board?
I think I do have a couple of questions. Once before I asked what made you choose that lot, since it's not central, really, to the areas that you cover. And your first part of the answer was, yes, you're right, or something to that effect, and then you continued to say you were looking for an area that was sort of a serene area. Okay. I must tell you, it doesn't make sense to me. It just does not make sense. You're a wonderful, wonderful charity. There is no question about it. The work that you do is absolutely magnificent. I am wondering also what made you leave where you were. If you could share those reasons. If you can't, obviously.
Sure. Oh, no, absolutely. We are currently in a leased space, and we have about 2,000 square feet, which we've outgrown as our recipient base continues to grow. We are planning a mission expansion, which takes our mission from people that have children living in the home that are 18 and under to anyone that has a cancer diagnosis. And to do so, the space that we have it's too small. Our landlord continues to confine us. We have less space now than we had 6 months ago. We had 4,000 square feet probably 6 months ago. And then he was able to rent that second building to somebody else, which really crushed us into where we are. We don't want to be centrally located. For me, I don't necessarily know that being centrally located in the middle of the hustle and the bustle is a good thing for us. We're quiet, we're not a storefront, we're not looking for you to come in and purchase things, we're not looking for our recipients don't really make their way into us, they're sick. So we are where we are, and then we move everything out. And for my staff, we want to be in a quieter place where we can be quiet, because when you're dealing with cancer and cancer diagnosis every day, our stress level is very, very high. We need quiet, we need serenity, and we don't really require a lot coming into us in order for us to do our job. So for us getting off of Route 9 and 376 and 55, it was never a consideration for me. I was always looking for something that had land, that we could have a garden and a bench, and we could sit outside, and we didn't have a lot of disturbance around us. So that's really, I was always choosing, acres. I was never looking at, being in a commercial type place to do what we do.
Okay, thank you for that.
Sure.
Obviously, you have evolved, and the need is there, and it's wonderful that you're there to meet it. The concerns that I have, anyway, is that by granting this, we're talking an acre and almost 3/4 difference here, 1.65. It's getting closer to an acre and 3/4 from the 5 that it's needed. And that to me seems very substantial, especially if you grow in your in your goals. To me, that creates a precedent that will then stand with the residents of Beekman. 5 acres was chosen for charitable organizations very specifically, especially for the town center. And to just, and again, it has nothing to do with the work that we do, of course.
Absolutely.
There is no question about it. quite frankly, I see this as something that could have later repercussions for this town and the residents of this town. And, once this, if this is approved, and if that's approved, it's approved, in my view, it could create issues later on with other organizations that can come in and say, well, we want 3¼ acres as well. Mm-hmm. Why not? And if you were to leave eventually, because you do need a bigger space, okay? And, well, you're leaving now. You're leaving a smaller space because you have evolved. You don't know that you won't get bigger and better, that you will not need more equipment, more trucks, more deliveries, more people. And again, now we are restricted with our blessings to a smaller area. This should not be so. So I think, again, it's very difficult to look at you, know the work that you do, and say, I have a responsibility as well.
Absolutely, I agree, and I'd like to touch on a few of those points.
Okay.
One, we only need probably 3,000 square feet of space. So we purposely made this building 7,000 square feet to continue growing into the building. That 3,000 square feet that is empty just allows us any growth that we could need. I have absolutely no plans to ever build any type of other structure on that acreage. As it was explained to me with the 5 acres that was put into the laws for charities, in some cases that is to prevent different charitable organizations like churches from having 3 and 4 structures and a home, as well as I can reassure you and put it in writing, the only structure that we ever plan to have is this. And for us, by expanding our mission to feed senior citizens, though it could double us in numbers, it really does not create more work for us or more of a workload for us because of the expansion in who we're going to feed and their dietary needs and what they really eat to begin with. But we took that into account. Our first drawing was 5,000 square feet. And I said, tell me how big that we can get it so that we never have to move again. And I can assure you that as long as I am the executive director of the charity, as long as I stay in the charity, there is absolutely no move to put any other structures on the property but this one, which can more than handle our needs and will still leave us with quite a bit of space.
I understand what your intentions are.
If I could,
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, I just would like to remind the board to confine its consideration to the procedures and the criteria factors set forth in the code, and any consideration of expansion or business concerns are not within the board's purview. But I think the applicant really should address each of those 5 criteria one by one, so that this board has a clear record and can obviously make a decision on the evidence within this hearing.
Okay.
All right, and if you want to do that now, or you want to ask the public, anybody
Yeah.
who's here from the public, will come
Yeah.
forward.
Yeah,
Why
great.
don't you do that? Why don't you have the public?
Great.
Did you open the public hearing?
Not yet, right now. Thank you. Thank you for your time. At this time, I'd like to make a motion to open the public hearing.
Second?
Second. If there's any members of the public present who wish to come up and speak or comment on this project, please step forth.
Anyone?
Anyone? Yep, please come up to the podium, state your name, your town, and you have 3 minutes.
public, but I'm Janet Mahoney. I live on Beekman Road, so I'd be neighboring this project, and I don't know all the legalities behind it, but I do support you, with everything you do, and I would be honored to have your building in our backyard. Like, it's, again, I just love this. Thank you.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, for as
Can
part
I
of
ask
public sheet.
Krista a question?
Yeah.
Okay.
Pardon me?
State something from the board, or is it public?
Yeah. Is it a board statement or a public statement?
I just wanted to ask her about delivery trucks and stuff. That's all.
Oh, yeah, so we,
We'll do
just
that
have
in
the
town board
public,
discussion, yeah.
have the public hearing
Yeah.
first, all the comment, and then make a motion to
Yeah.
close.
Anyone else from the public? Going once, going twice?
Motion to
Make
close?
a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
Second.
Linda's got it. Okay.
Okay,
Stella
great.
for, Stella's motion,
Mercy made the motion.
I made the motion.
Linda second.
Linda second.
and the second.
Yep. So at this time, town board discussion.
Okay.
I can ask a question.
Yeah. So, will an undesirable change be produced in the character of the neighborhood or detriment to nearby properties be created by granting this variance?
Good.
Can you state why?
Yeah, can you state why?
No, because as working with the planning board and what we're going to be doing, as the property is right now, and I'm sure the board is familiar with that property. Not only is it's only a one-story building, only taking over 7,000 square feet, we're planning on landscaping this property to plant a whole lot more trees and landscaping than that currently exists on the site right now. We're actually thinking we're going to make this property look even better than it is right now. You're really not going to be able to even see the building, spring, summer, and part of fall.
Second question?
Second question, can the desired result be achieved by some other means other than granting a variance?
For that, I would say no, only because that's the only property that was available. But I can say, to Maria's concerns, is that we've been in this process for several years now, and this was the only property that checked all the boxes for everything that we needed. And I sit on the board, and I tell you, if there was another 1.75 acres available, we would have bought it. But there's not. And, we've done the research. This is one of the larger properties in the TC zone. Another reason why we chose it. So we wanted the largest property that we could get in this area. It just so happens that this was a requirement that Mr. Wallace and Dan Kohler brought to our attention, that you're going to need a variance for this.
Okay, good.
Yep.
Great. Question 3 is the variance substantial?
You want my answer?
Yeah, these are all questions
Yeah.
for you.
Because it's an existing non-conforming condition. I was like, there's nothing we can do about it. Like I said in the previous comment, if there was more acreage available, we would have gotten it, so that we could conform.
I'm just going to add to that. We actually did approach one of the neighbors to try to purchase their land as well, and it wasn't for sale, but we actually were trying to purchase the land to the left before something else started to develop. We were going to try to take both lots.
Great. Will the variance have an adverse effect of impact on the physical or environmental conditions in the neighborhood or district?
No, because all the other requirements, both planning, zoning, environmental, we meet all of them. This is really the only thing we do not meet.
And then finally, is the alleged hardship self-created?
I could say yes, because we want this piece of property. This is where we want to build. We've invested a lot of time and money into this. So yes, it is self-created, but then again, no, it's not, because that was the size of the land that was put there. Sorry, that's not straightforward.
No, that's,
Yeah.
no, that's good.
I think it goes to your,
Yes.
to the fact that the physical lot is non-conforming. And you didn't create the non-conforming aspect of the lot. Is that,
That's correct, yeah, we didn't subdivide it down to 3.35.
Great,
I think we're good there.
great, thank you. Town board discussion. So, will the undesirable change produced in the character be detriment to the neighborhood properties?
I gotta hear you, so you gotta come over here and hear.
Yeah, so just going through the five, so,
You can sit, yeah, you can sit.
yeah, thank you. Well, thank you. Will an undesirable change be produced in the character of the properties nearby? Is it gonna make the neighborhood look bad?
Yes.
I think it's one, it's designed very well.
Yeah. Okay,
Two, it is not in the, there's a library, there's Cumberland Farms,
Yeah.
there's Dollar General,
Yeah.
it's not in a smack dab residential
yeah,
area.
it's behind.
It's behind,
Yeah,
it's hidden.
yeah, it's way behind.
It's hidden.
Yeah,
It's in the
I'd rather
TC.
look at that
Yeah.
than Cumberland Farms, to be honest
yeah,
with you.
yeah.
It's in the TC district, and if you look at everything that's in the TC, especially the library directly across,
It's directly-
it's very
it's-
conforming. Yeah.
So with the second question, can the desire be by other means? Can the result be achieved by other means than a variance? I mean, they need a variance. to do
They need
this.
a variance,
Yeah.
there's no way you can fit
Yeah.
this in, there's no,
Once you buy another property, right?
I don't know how many, it's almost like a commercial piece of property, isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
How many other commercial pieces of property?
According to the
are in the town of
applicant,
Beekman?
according to the applicant, that was the largest piece.
There isn't.
Yeah,
Most of it's farmland.
yeah. So then, do you think the variance is substantial?
It is, but when you look at it, and that's what I was saying last month, was if it was something we had 3 or 4 of in this town,
Yeah.
yes, I agree. I would agree, but we don't. There's no other one in this town.
Yeah,
And that plays heavily. As far as making a precedent, anybody that comes before us is a one-time deal, and we pass and we don't
Right.
reach on an individual
I think
case.
they
So
all
there's
have to
not
be,
really precedent.
just like solar, just anything,
Yeah.
anything that comes up to the board has to be reviewed on an individual
Yeah.
basis.
yeah,
So, but do I think it's substantial? I'm going to say no.
Yeah.
I think it's cool with them. I'm going to say yes.
So will it have an adverse effect on the physical or environmental conditions of the neighborhood? Again,
And again, it's kind of hidden
Fits right
behind
in.
it's hidden,
Cumberland
yeah, it
Farms.
fits right in.
Fits right in.
It's not in a residential
Yeah.
area.
And we've addressed,
Or industrial.
and we've addressed the
It's
self-creation of the
commercial.
hardship.
I
The
think
property is the property, the lot's the lot. Yeah, okay, okay,
So I couldn't hear.
okay.
I wish I had one of these chairs at home.
Right? We was full asleep in it after the meeting.
Sorry.
Hey, Craig, can I ask the applicant one more question?
yeah, absolutely.
Krista, yeah.
Steve?
Yeah.
If I could just ask you guys, now I know the building fits on that property, and just about where you have everything and the frontage wouldn't allow you to build bigger if you wanted to. The only way you could go is up. You don't have any future desire to build up, right?
Just
Beautiful.
like Krista said, like when we first started out, we started out at 5,000 square feet, and we were plugging in all the numbers, and everything checked out.
Yep.
And then Krista approached me and said, look, I only want to do this once. I only want to go through this whole process. Because I told her, I'm like, we got to go to planning, we got to go to zoning, we got to go back to planning. This is going to be months. So she even said, we're going to do this once, let's max everything out. And we just landed at 7,000, that maxes out what we can do there.
Yep,
And,
absolutely.
the way we're going to build this building, so like the back side of it, we should recommend it tonight. The back side of it's going to be built like a pole barn.
Yep,
So we can't even go up.
okay.
We don't want to. And then above, like the offices, that's where all the mechanical equipment's gonna go up.
Yep.
So, yeah. She's only tapping her bank account once. And she's not doing this again.
out.
And so,
Okay.
so yeah, that's it.
I appreciate it.
Yep.
Thank you
Great.
very much. All right,
Any other questions from the board? We're good? Thank you,
No,
guys.
it's fine.
Thank you very much.
you know, let's do it close.
Yep, okay. So make a motion to roll call vote?
For the
Aye,
variance
I
of
vote yay.
1.65?
Yep.
I vote yes.
All right,
Based on
so the motion,
the acreage?
Yes, for the 1
The
point,
acreage,
for the
I
acreage.
think it's a substantial variance.
we made a motion for a roll call vote for giving the variance of 1.65 acres
Yep.
on the
From-
tax parcel of 675,900,465,462 for Sparrow's Nest. Is that correct?
Yes,
All right, so
accurate.
that was your motion, and I'll second it.
Yeah, is there, if the board is so inclined to state its reasons, or has there been, I'm sorry.
No,
through
go
the
ahead.
chair. Has there been a formal vote, or did you guys?
No,
Just-
there hasn't
Right
been a
now.
formal vote
Yeah.
till right now.
All right, so
We're-
what you can do is take your vote, and then if you are so inclined to read your decision into the record, if you could do so.
Great. So, vote of the board, Phil Capalbo,
Aye.
Linda Porter,
Aye.
I, Merson Capillari, aye. Stella Slattery,
Nay.
passes.
I'd like to add it's for the acreage
Yes,
difference. I think it's a substantial difference.
great.
You're gonna read it in?
Yes. So, zoning board of appeals, resolution for applicant Krista Jones, corner of Clove Valley Road and Town Center Boulevard, tax grid 132200-6759-00-465462, current zone TC. Whereas the Town of Beekman Zoning Board of Appeals, hereinafter ZBA or Board, has received an application from Krista Jones for an area variance involving the property located at corner of Clove Valley Road and Town Center Boulevard, tax lot number 132-200-6759-00-465462-000. The applicant is seeking the following relief from section 15542 of the tax code to permit the construction of a foundation facility on a lot having an area of 3.32 acres where 5.0 acres are required 80 feet from the road, requiring a variance of 1.68 acres. And whereas the project site is located in the town center district, and whereas the granting of an individual lot size variance for a non-residential facility is a type 2 action under SEQR pursuant to 6 NYCRR 617.5 C16, and whereas after due and proper notice, a public hearing was held on this matter on March 2nd, 2023, during which all who wished to speak were heard, and whereas a motion was made and seconded to grant the requested variance, and whereas after due deliberation, including careful consideration of the standard of review for an area variance, namely the benefit to the applicant if the variance is granted as weighed against the detriment to the health, safety, and welfare of the neighborhood or community by such grant, the ZBA has determined that the criteria for issuance of an area variance has been met, specifically whether an undesirable change will be produced in the character of the neighborhood or a detriment to nearby properties will be created by granting of the area variance. After review of the facts and testimony as well as the board's observation of the site conditions, the board finds as follows. Granting the requested variance will neither change the overall character of the neighborhood nor a detriment to nearby properties because existing lot contains 3.32 acres, which is one of the largest lots in the TC zone district. The size of the building proposed is similar to the Beekman Public Library, which is across the street, and the charitable foundation facility is similar to other institutional and government uses nearby. B, whether the benefits sought by the applicant can be achieved by some method feasible for the applicant to pursue or other than an area variance. After review of the facts and testimony, as well as the board's observations of site conditions, the board finds as follows. The benefits sought by the applicant cannot be achieved at this location without a variance. The location is centrally located and has convenient access to state and county highways. Charitable foundation facilities are permitted in the TC district, and this lot is one of the largest within the district. There is no feasible method to build this facility without an area variance. Whether the requested area variance is substantial. After a review of the facts and testimony, as well as the board's observations of site conditions, the board finds as follows. The variance as requested is substantial, but it should not be a cause for denial. The 5-acre requirement of Section 155-42A requires a substantial amount of property which is not available in the TC district. The board determines that the activities proposed for the facility can be accomplished on the proposed lot containing 3.32 acres, and the 5-acre requirement is quite large for the charitable kitchen facility that is proposed. While a variance of 1.68 acres, where 5 acres is required, may be substantial in some cases, here this factor is not significant because 5 acres is not functionally required in this instance and should not preclude the granting of the variance. D, whether the proposed variance will have an adverse effect or impact on the physical or environmental conditions of the neighborhood or district. After review of the facts and testimony, as well as the board's observations of the site conditions, the board finds as follows. There will be no adverse impact on the physical or environmental conditions in the neighborhood from granting of the variance. The facility proposed is a kitchen for the preparation of meals to be delivered to cancer patients and their families. There is no retail traffic, truck deliveries are minimal, and there is a small staff at the facility. The building proposed is similar in style to the nearby public buildings and is otherwise in character with the neighboring buildings. Whether the alleged difficulty was self-created, which consideration shall be relevant to the decision of the Board of Appeals, but shall not necessarily preclude the granting of the area variance. After review of the facts and testimony, as well as the board's observations of the site conditions, the board finds as follows. The alleged difficulty is not self-created in that the lot is existing and the use is permitted in the zone. The 5-acre minimum lot size is very large and not necessarily needed for the proposed facility. Now therefore be it resolved, the ZBA grants the application from Krista Jones for an area variance involving property located at corner of Clove Valley Road and Town Center Boulevard, tax lot number 132-200, 6759, 00465, 462, 000, specifically from section 155-42A of the Town Code, to permit the construction of a charitable foundation facility on a lot having an acre of 3.32 acres where 5 acres are required.
Motion to close.
Motion to close the meeting.
Second, thank you all for coming.
Thank you all for coming this evening.
Guys, God bless, and good things for you going forward. You guys are doing a great job. I really hope things go forward real smooth from here. You'll get there. No problem. Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming. Everybody get home safe.